It is my pleasure to unveil to you the next speaker, Shriya Dinakar, a budding astronaut inspired by the lives of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Valentina Tereshkova, and Sunita Williams. Shreya has her sights firmly located at the skies. At the age of 11, she became the world's youngest trainee astronaut as well as the youngest aircraft pilot. Her mission is to be the first woman on Mars and set up the human colonies that will safeguard human race from uncontrollable and devastating effects of global warming. In her quest to fulfill this dream, she has trained extensively in various parts of the world. She has maneuvered a baby submarine in the Atlantic Ocean, practiced undersea walking, and also has paraglided over South China. Shreya has won over 450 awards and accolades, including a €100,000 scholarship from the World of Art Europe and Jawahar Bhavan, Bal Bhavan, Bangalore. I can continue talking about her personality for another 5 to 10 minutes or so. But it's always better to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for none other than Shriya Dinakar. Welcome.
Good afternoon to one and all present here.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I thought good afternoon was very formal, so hey guys. Okay, you all are awake, so let me begin with my talk. It all began in the 1990s, the middle 1990s. I was this small little girl back then, with questioning eyes and a questioning mouth. I used to talk so much and ask so many questions, just like how all of you were when you were kids, right? So, although I was this very well-behaved kid that preferred to, observe things around her keenly than create a nuisance or cry or do something like that, my parents were always exhausted by answering my questions, just like any parent whose child would have gone through that age. So, one such question was, why isn't that white ball coming to me? Well, if you all are wondering what white ball the 2-year-old me was referring to, let me make it very clear. I was referring to just the moon. Well, back then I didn't know that it was called the moon. I found it white, it looked like a ball, so I started calling it a white ball. And when I popped this question to my mom, instead of distracting me, instead of stopping me, instead of shutting my mouth, instead of shutting my questions, she made sure that she put a little bit of knowledge into my head about this. About things like the universe, the stars, the space, the sky, the sun, the moon, the whatnot, and all the amazing things that happen in the universe. And that's when I secretly and optimistically desired to touch the moon. Life went on with school, and my parents started encouraging me in all sorts of extracurricular activities. I started training as a dancer at the age of 3. And along with that, I was like really crazy about fine arts and colors and all these vibrance associated with any sort of art. And one day we happened to go as a family outing. When we went out, that's when I saw this huge crowd of kids drawing and coloring and painting and having a lot of fun. And being the stubborn kid that I was, I insisted that I go and play and draw and color with them because I really liked it. And well, back then I didn't know that it was a painting contest. I didn't know what a contest was in the first place. All I wanted to do was just enjoy myself and paint and draw and color, that's it. So I was given a sheet of paper, I was made to sit in a corner, and I was given a few colors, and at the same time they told me the theme of the drawing competition. That happened to be world peace. Too much for a 3-year-old to comprehend actually, but I have no clue from where did so many ideas pop into my head that I ended up drawing sketch diagrams of a Hindu man, a Christian man, and a Muslim man, and all of them holding hand in hand, standing on the earth and a dove flying on top. And I happened to win the first place. And I'm still clueless as to why they chose my painting over so many thousands of skillfully made paintings. And I still remember I was so little that people had to literally pass me from one to another so that I could reach the stage. And when I reached the stage, it was they made me stand. I was so little that they made me stand on a table, and they awarded me my first ever prize. This prize was like the turning point of my life. And like I said, I continued dancing, and Bharatanatyam was my basic, along with a lot of Indian classical dances. I started believing, I started feeling that that dancing was like dreaming with your feet. It is perhaps the most beautiful art form that one can learn. And I was fortunate enough that my parents encouraged me to pursue my passion. Along with being a Bharatanatyam dancer, I started training in the other forms of Indian classical dances, namely Kathakali, Kuchipudi, Manipuri, Mohiniyattam, Odissi and Kathak. And trust me, when you are into one of these kind of dances, it really is a beautiful thing. Now back to square one. What happened to my dream, to my desire to touch the moon? Well, one thing was for sure, that I finally found out that it was called the moon. I continued to be a very good student, and like those kind of students that teachers literally love. At the same time, I did homework. I did a bit of homework for astronauts, about the astronauts, about astronomy and stuff. And I happened to discover that the first and foremost thing, that a requirement of an astronaut, was to let go of all fears. The fears, the phobias, the fears of water, the fears of air, height, isolation that is the most important thing. And to let go of all these fears, there are around 16 varieties of training that one should undergo. Well, to be very honest, all this did sound breathtaking, but at the same time, I was taken aback. All these trainings included things like flying an aircraft, maneuvering a submarine, and a lot of lists. So, at that point of time, for a 10-year-old, it was too hard to digest. But I did try to digest, and I did try my best to put in some sort of effort. Based on my IQ scores, I tried to enroll myself in a Cessna flying program. After this, I don't know what I was thinking. I was just barely 11 years old. My head hadn't reached enough maturity. But still, I didn't know what I was thinking about, but I wanted to give it a try. All I had was a zeal to achieve what I wanted, a zeal to make my parents proud. My parents always used to tell me that when you're fortunate enough to be born as a member of the Homo sapiens species, it just means that you're born for a cause and that you have to give back to the society. I really wanted to give back and to introspect my cause. So, with a lot of happiness, a lot of excitement, a lot of aspirations, I went for enrolling myself in the flying program. But like you all know, some dreams are meant to be crushed at a particular time. Mine were crushed too. I was said that I couldn't be. I was said that my age wouldn't let me chase my dreams. That being barely 11, I couldn't be a pilot. It was so depressing. It was just horrible. I felt terrible. I was crying all the time, and I felt it was the end of the world. I felt it was the end of my life, and I was so heartbroken. But like I said, although some dreams are meant to be crushed, they are meant to be crushed only to revive and emerge stronger. I made with a lot of references and a lot of homework, I made my way to Russia. And seeing my perseverance in the interview, they thought that I at least deserved to be given one opportunity. And I gladly took that up. And that's all that I had needed, and that's all that I had wanted, and that's where my journey exactly began. I clearly remember the first time I flew my flight. It was a two-seater microlight aircraft, and I remember seeing the flight, I remember touching the flight, I remember stepping into it, I remember touching each and every control and touching the joystick and everything. There was this huge smile on my face, and my happiness knew no bounds. And I remember the pilot, my co-pilot, giving me instructions, and then we just flew off. We just took off, and it was like the best feeling ever. My most beautiful experiences, my most beautiful memories are attached with this training. I felt like a free bird flying in the air. I felt so overwhelmed. I could see the whole world below me, and I felt everyone out there was praying for me. Everyone out there was, wishing me good luck. And I felt I had found my wings. And after 30 days of training, I finally was certified as the youngest pilot in the world at the age of 11. Having said all that, now there was one down, many more to go. I took up the submarine training at France. Well, like you all know, that a submarine is mostly, the controls of a submarine are quite similar to those of a spacecraft, and hence it was really beneficial if you end up riding one. So again, this was one of the most beautiful experiences that I've ever encountered. At the same time, next came the underwater experience. This is usually called the zero gravity experience. Like the name suggests, it gives you a zero gravity feel, and the posture, the erect posture that you have to maintain, the consciousness with which you have to walk around is really challenging, but at the same time it's wonderful. It's lots of fun. So after this, these all trainings were coupled with parasailing, paragliding, paramotoring, and other simulator experiences. Now, if I had to pick one out of all these 5 trainings that I have finished, I would definitely rate skydiving to be the most fabulous one. I feel every single person has to undergo this kind of fun, this kind of training, at least once in their lifetime. And I feel this is the best thing that can ever happen to you. You might be a little nervous before taking the plunge. You might have jitters before taking the jump. But once you jump, it is like the best feeling ever. The adrenaline rush that you get, the feeling that you are a bird is like just unbeatable. Trust me, this is 45 seconds of pure joy. It starts at 10,000 feet above sea level, and it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. Okay, so all these 5 trainings are done, and I vividly remember getting an invite to be a part of the International Astronautical Congress 2007 held at Hyderabad. I had presented a project on the theme Future of Humans on the Planet Mars. It was very well received and well appreciated. I received a lot of appreciation from great achievers like Dr. Abdul Kalam and Sunita Williams. Dr. Kalam was so impressed that he invited me onto the dais to introduce me to the whole gathering that he was addressing. So much of love, so much of support, so much of encouragement from so many people around me, including my role models, was so overwhelming. I understood that it takes a lot of effort to achieve something, and I was ready to put in so much effort to, come up to meet their expectations. Now, coming to one of my dreams, I always dreamt to invent a low-cost, reliable human flying machine. This machine, actually this idea came into reality when I collaborated with about 6 scientists. And this human flying machine is, an alternative to the urban traffic. So it's a vertical takeoff and landing machine, and it works on the principle of mass conversion and expansion. So what you do is the fuel, you can make that at home, it can be produced domestically, and when you send it through a catalyst, it's gonna get converted into water vapor, and this vapor, when sent through an orifice, it creates a pressure that creates a torque, and the rotor starts running, and that's when you can start flying. And the best part about this machine is that it has two safety measures, that is the ballistic parachute and the auto rotation. And the icing on the cake is that it does not cause pollution. This is how it will look if and when it is brought to India and implemented. Okay, so nothing worth having comes easy. There's ups and downs, and sadness, and everything is a part of life. It's a part of growing up. Whatever I have done is with the help of my parents, with their support, with the support of my family, my friends, and everybody around me. And although the society is pretty good, there is some part of it that has to intervene all the time. There have been sexist comments that's like, she's a girl, why are you encouraging her? Or at the end of the day, she has to get married and settle down. These kind of comments are very demeaning, are very demotivating, very demoralizing. And these pop up every now and then. So what if I'm a girl? Don't I have the right to dream? Doesn't any girl have right to dream? Can't girls achieve what they want to? I think I'm pretty fortunate to have super supportive parents, but what about those girls what about those dreams that are shattered every day because of gender inequality? I think it's high time the society starts respecting a girl's ambition, a girl's desire, and starts encouraging. I feel every single girl, every single child, or every single person for that matter should be encouraged, should be supported, and that's when the purpose of life is going to come out. When life meets passion, that is where lies the satisfaction and inner peace, and that's where you can be a better person. So, I told you about my dreams, my experiences, my passion, my ups and downs, my sadness, and everything. All I wanted to tell was I still have a very, very, very long way to go, and hopefully with the dreams that I have, with the hard work that I'm going to put in, and with the support of my parents and my loved ones, I hope that I at least reach midway of my dreams. All I want to tell all of you, all that I want to tell you all is that everybody has wings. Everybody hides it under their scapulae. And some people are oblivious to them. Some people realize that they have wings but they do not use. And a very few people do not care about anything, and they just open their wings and fly. The world is a very, very huge place, and the world is all yours. All you have to do is just realize, discover your wings, let them out and fly high. And having said that, I would really like to thank TEDx Bnmit for inviting me here, for considering me worthy to be a part of this kind of a talk. It was a pleasure being here. I loved it, and thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Well, that was quite informative, motivational. Yeah, there's one thing that I would like to say I'm very, very proud of to say right now. Miss Shriya, Dinakar and me are the same age. Wow, isn't that really a proud moment? But the difference is very evident. She is the speaker for the day, I'm just the host. That's it. Thank you, ma'am. That was really a great talk. She is the best example of what you get by following your passion. That is true success and nothing else. Just true success, followed by, of course, satisfaction. I now call upon Chaitra ma'am to hand over the memento as a token of appreciation for her talk right here. Thank you, ma'am. Now we have the second